Well, it's July 1st, and as I said, I'm going to start my Artist Way course today. I taught this course in New Jersey, so I'm very familiar with what Julia Cameron says, and long before I taught it, I used the book in its morning pages and just the things, the dynamic things that Julia Cameron says in it to help me bounce back from a depression that was keeping me from being functional. And it's a long story. It doesn't even make any difference really why, but creativity is a fragile thing. I always say when I move, and I've moved many times, I've moved 4 times in the last 5 years, and that's enough to block anybody. But this last time I moved about a year ago, and I didn't start painting again until a week or two ago because it just overwhelmed me. So I decided that I was going to start this program again for myself, and just thinking about it and planning it, I bounced back because I know exactly what this book says. So I advocate it. On the first day, we're going to skip some very valuable reading in the introduction. If you want to read that, go ahead and read it. I'll probably go back and pick this up. But I hate books. I'm an artist, and I hate art books that you buy because you want to learn how this person paints and this person's secret to painting, and they spend the first 4 chapters talking about the history of art, history of watercolor. You think, oh my cow, I don't care about that. Or you go to YouTube and you watch a video and they spend 5 minutes showing their introduction. Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to see it. I want to get down to it. So that's what we're doing. We're going to jump right in. And today is your first day. It's the first day of the rest of your life. It's the day you're going to start writing morning pages, which is the main tenet, the main advice that I believe that Julia Cameron offers blocked creatives. Everybody is not a blocked creative. People who aren't creative aren't blocked. Well, yeah, they are. They're blocked. They're blocked creatives. They just don't know it. Just because you never painted or never drawn doesn't mean you're not a blocked creative. Creativity is an emotional thing. Art is an emotional thing. Whether you're painting or not, you're an artist. And it's a difficult principle to get into it, believe me. And trust me on this, we're going to start on page 9, and we're only going to read 3 pages, because that's all I think it takes to understand what morning pages are. Morning pages, all it is, in fact, one, I'm going to see what brain drain. She calls it brain drain. And you are supposed to just sit down and write longhand. Don't do this on the computer. It's not the same thing. There's an eye-hand thing going on here. I do believe that physical deal of moving your hand across the page becomes meditative. And as you move your hand, you are priming a pump, and you are pumping out that stuff that's inside you. That stuff that's inside you. I'm not even going to try to tell you my opinion, because she says it very well. That stuff that you hold inside you that rears up every time you need to create is what you need to get rid of before you can create anything else. In my garden, I pull the weeds. I pull plants that are out of season to make room for something else. You have to do that inside your brain too. Morning pages. In order to, okay, I want you to know something. I use a highlighter to highlight my book. One thing good about this, there are several things good about this book, but one thing that you're going to find is that Julia Cameron provides some outstanding quotes from other artists, Eudora Welty was from here in Mississippi, and Ingrid Mingus, MC Richards, Pablo Picasso. But anyway, so other, famous people's quotes, they may be poets, they may be screenwriters, they may be painters. But she says some pretty good stuff herself that now is, in fact, I have a place on my blog, quotes, Julia Cameron quotes, because she has, this book came out, I'm trying to think, I read it right after it came out because I was blocked after a divorce, and a friend realized that I was in my, I don't even know when it came out, whenever this book was made, was 30 years ago. I'm not sure when this book was published, but anyway, it's been over 30 years, and I read it over 30 years ago. So anyway, first read it. Okay, morning pages. You might want to highlight your book. You might want to write in the columns. This is not a sacred thing. You can buy another one. This is about my 10th book. You can write anywhere. You can write on paper. You can make a quote bank on paper. Whatever. When I highlight something, I etch that in my brain. But morning pages. In order to retrieve your creativity, you need to find it. I ask you to do this by an apparently pointless process. Apparently pointless process. I call the morning pages, and I will agree. My body, my mind, my soul resists it. I think it seems pointless too. But as a doctor, every morning I have to take a pill about that big, tiny, tiny pill because I have thyroid dysfunction. And I think, well, how could a pill not as big as a flea help me? And besides that, my thyroid isn't all that badly off. I think I'll just skip it today. No. The doctor told me to take that little pill, and I'm going to do it. And when I don't, I pay for it. Okay, the pages are longhand writing, strictly stream of consciousness. What is stream of consciousness? It's just this comes in. I see a pencil sharpener over there. That is the best pencil sharpener I have ever bought. If I lost that pencil sharpener or if it's broke, I would buy another one just like that one. It's big. It doesn't rock around so just whatever comes to your mind, write it down. You won't be writing about the pencil sharpener because unless you can't think of. In fact, when I was a child, we played a game, I Spy, and you would go around and you'd see something in the room and you'd spy it. And I spy a big blue book with a donkey on the front. If that's the only thing you can write by I spying something to begin with, do it. In fact, she says you can't think of anything else to write. I can't think of anything to write. I can't think of anything to write. I can't think of anything. And do it over and over again for 3 pages. And finally, your brain will say, hey, I'm sick of writing that. Let me think of something else to write. But anyway, okay, here it's 3 pages of longhand writing, strictly stream of consciousness, and then she adds this. This is what her own thought is. Oh God, another morning. I have nothing to say. I need to wash the curtains. Did I get my laundry yesterday? Blah, blah, blah. Or you might write something a little bit more interesting. Don't try to write pretty. Don't erase and edit, and that's not stream of consciousness. When you write stream of consciousness, you just write what's there and you do not stop and edit. Editing is a writing killer. Never edit any writing until you finish it and then go back. But stream of consciousness, an eraser and an editor is absolutely forbidden. So don't edit as you go. There is no wrong way to do morning pages. Yes, there is. Don't edit. These daily morning meanderings are not meant to be art or even writing. I stress that to point to reassure the non-writers. Yeah, non-writers need to do this. There are people who are emotionally blocked. In fact, I know a bunch of them working. This is not just to make you write better, not just to make you paint better. It's the book is made to help you live better, to help you feel more, to help you engage in the process of living. Okay, when you're writing morning pages, there's nothing too petty, too silly, too stupid to be weird. They're not supposed to be smart. They're not supposed to sound smart. Nobody, yes, nobody, I will not share my morning pages with you, is allowed to read your morning pages except you. And you shouldn't even read them yourself for at least 8 weeks, because you'll read it and think, my cow, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. So just date it and start writing until you've written at least 3 pages. And I would say stop yourself at that, because, I mean, you're not trying to write War and Peace on the first day. Okay. All that angry, whiny, petty stuff that you write down in the morning stands between you and your creativity. Worrying about your job, worrying about your laundry, worrying about that funny knock in your car. Those things start, when you start trying to write something, that stuff wants to get at you. Want to think about that because you want to process it. So when you start to do something that's meaningful, that just wants to choke you right at the get-go. Okay, we are all victims of our own censor. So if you're telling yourself when you're writing, this is the dumbest thing I have ever written. Why am I doing this? What a joke this is. You can't even punctuate. If you hadn't been an artist by now, you'll never be one, so why even try? That's your censor. It's not the truth. It's just this, she calls it a hissing snake winding around your Garden of Eden, trying to trick you up, trying to make you be as non-viable and as inane as he is. So you wrote one good play, the censor tells you. That's all there is? And that happened to me after my first book was published. So you drew your first sketch. The censor says, well, it's not Picasso. That's your censor. And I have it. It runs rampant in my life. Page 12, we're almost finished with today's reading. Morning pages are non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Takes you what, 15 minutes to write 3 pages of whatever on a piece of paper? Do it. Never skip, never skimp. And your mood doesn't matter. Just the other day I was talking to somebody who said to me, I have to feel the mood before I write. Bull. If I waited till I had the mood to write or to paint, you'd never see anything from me again, because I never get in the mood until I start work. And then after I start work, it comes back. But I never just wash with this overwhelming desire to sit down and paint. Oh, got to do it. No, I never get that. So I just sit down and start working. And we're going to talk about this in another day. When I start working, something magical happens. I call it my intuition. She calls it the voice of God, but she's talking about intuition as a God, an emotional, internal God, a spirit, not a religion God. When that happens, your intuition enters your hands, enters your brain, and it takes over. That's when you're not when you're writing morning. Well, maybe when you're writing morning pages, I don't know. But you're not just give over the idea that you're going to write something gorgeous that you can put on YouTube or on Facebook in your morning pages. Rarely will that happen. 3 pages. To say anything you want until you have filled 3 pages. And that's all the reading is for today. Pages 9 through 12. Now it's time for you to write 3 pages. You can do it. I'll do it. I don't want to do it either. If I can do it, you can do it.